searching for you. I'm still searching for you. From dirt to the sky, I'm still searching for you. I've seen you inside this code. I run till I know you inside my heart. But now I'm still searching for you. I'm still searching for you. From dirt to the sky, I'm still searching for you. 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 I'm still from dirt to the sky, I'm still searching for you.
Wake the fuck up, samurai. We have a city to burn.
You disgust me.
Who gives a shit?
Go on.
I made it the fuck up.
I did. I did. I did. I did. I did. It's glorious. And I run. Just for fun, 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 just for fun.
I'm sorry. I couldn't resist.
Just for fun, 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 just for fun.
Hello, everybody out there in YouTube land. This is your T-shirted historian here for the second time today. So I hope you guys aren't getting tired of me yet. We only do this during the summertime anyway. So how you guys doing?
Okay, complain.
Can't complain.
I'm doing pretty good myself.
Pretty good's good. And already we got a $5 super sticker from Mercurius. Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate you very much. And I wish other people would donate too, but it is what it is. We got a pretty good viewership, I guess, for Tuesday night. But I owe him a good one for that, huh? For $5 Australian. Let me see. Have you guys seen Fat Larry or Sang?
How about Fat Larry?
Yeah, let's do Fat Larry. Fat Larry's cool.
Player, what's the score? How they hang? Good evening and all that commotion. Welcome to Fat Larry's Trucker Mac, the only store for all your needs after 10 o'clock. I am the proprietor and salesman of the month several years in a row. The ladies call me, oh God, but you can call me Fat Larry with a F-A-T, cause I know I got a weight problem, I just don't give a fuck.
I love Fat Larry.
How is it that, and this is just maybe I should save this for one of these days when somebody talks me into doing a stream. How is it that none of us have any Full Throttle clips to play?
What do you mean?
You don't remember that game? It was a puzzle game on a PC back in the 90s. It was Full Throttle. You're a motorcycle. You're a leader of a motorcycle gang going around. It's a LucasArts game.
No, I never played it.
Never even heard of it.
That's classic, and it's he basically your main character runs around and pops one-liners the whole time.
Huh. I'm sure you could find a lot of it on YouTube if it hasn't already been recorded, but it may actually be on GOG.
I was just loading that up to check.
There you go. Speaking of stuff to load up on, geez, man. I've been finding a lot of little cheap games on Steam that have been pretty well worth my money here lately. I mean, but there is a big one that I want to mention is coming out on June 17th, which is next week, next Tuesday, I believe. Yes, next Tuesday. So, how many of you guys are familiar with a little game called Pandemic?
Oh, I own it.
Called what?
Pandemic.
Because I hear that.
Yeah, it's a. I was going to say it's a very popular board game, and I even got one of the expansions for it, which involves like adding like animal type diseases to the game.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah, what's funny was I actually did receive it during the actual pandemic that we went through here.
Yep. Actually, I'm sorry. It's not Pandemic. Plague Incorporated.
Oh, that
Plague
one I
Inc.
played too. Yes.
Yeah.
That one.
Because you have not played Plague Inc.?
Nope.
Dude.
It started as a mobile game, I think, and now isn't it like something like 100 times better now if you get like the PC version or something?
I don't know. I never played it on mobile, but it's a mobile game. It's a tabletop game, and yeah, it's a PC game. And I only played it on PC, and I enjoyed the crap out of it. In fact, I played it over and over and over because the object of the game is to create a virus, of which there's so many different types that start out, and then figure out a way to keep it going long enough to infect and kill everybody on the planet. And it's actually pretty handy to see how viruses and stuff work. What traits allow it to spread, and what is actually the most effective against the population, especially if it's a population that does wash their hands a lot or doesn't, or is pretty crazy about germs.
So it teaches you how to take care of Koreans and Japanese.
Not necessarily, but I mean, it's just crazy. All the different permutations of all the different viruses you can make, and then you can make cheats that make it more interesting too.
Mm.
But anyway, one of the viruses that you can tailor in that game is called the Necroa virus, where literally it creates zombies. So you literally get to find a way to make the zombie virus break out on planet Earth and try to kill everybody on it. You also get to do it with vampires, and you get to do it with the apes from Planet of the Apes. But I digress. The zombie one is really, really fun, and it's interesting just because all the different ways that you can mutate the Necroa virus to make it spread faster or make the zombies that rise from it more resilient and things like that. And the government's responses. And there's a little bit of strategy, too, about where you choose to start the plague at. Because, like, if you start at someplace really big, like, say, India, and it spreads too fast, all the other countries start shutting their borders down and stuff, and then the virus can't grow anymore because it's contained. So you have to kind of, my usual strategy is to hit the most secluded place on the planet, which is usually Iceland. Start it there and then let it spread to all the other countries from there. Because usually once I get Iceland infected, and taken over pretty good, then I can kind of spread to all the other places. But that's just my usual strategy.
Like playing Risk and immediately moving to conquer Australia.
Well, I mean, basically. Can you turn Tourette's syndrome into an airborne pathogen? No, you can't. But you can you can make some viruses that have some very similar effects, depending on what it is. And some of not all the viruses are bad. Some of them are happy. Like there's one virus that is like a Christmas virus, and you succeed by sending presents to everybody. But it's got all kinds of different fun permutations and stuff. Well, anyway, getting back to it. Okay, so the Necroa virus is the zombie one, right? So Endemic Studios, which is the name of the company that made it, is coming out with what's called After Inc. And that one, like I said, is set to drop on June 17th. And After Inc. Revival is what happens to people on planet Earth after the Necroa virus has swept through.
I've actually been playing the mobile version of that game, and I've just been playing the casual mode, just having fun with it. But it's basically you're just building up your different societies all throughout the lands, and you even still, in some cases, still get to fight zombies and wild dogs and stuff. So I've actually been playing that game currently.
Right. And it's coming to PC on the 17th, and I've been playing the demo, which I highly recommend anybody who likes these types of strategy games to give it a try, because the full game's not unleashed and everything, so you can't unlock all the cheats, and you can't unlock all the different leadership styles and stuff. But every time you play the game, your ratings allow you to unlock more and more stuff, like different cheats and different leadership styles. So, like, in the demo, it just defaults to the survivor, which is basically, it's like, hey, man, you managed to survive the apocalypse, so you're automatically qualified to lead. But you have to deal with things like not having enough wood, fuel to burn to keep everybody warm. You have to worry about getting enough water and food for everybody. And you constantly have to be exploring so that you can claim new territory to unlock more resources and better technologies and ways to use them. And of course, there are still zombies wandering around out there. So you still have to build up some kind of defense forces and stuff to go out there and tear the zombies out of whatever area it is you want to get to. But I've really enjoyed the demo so much, and I honestly recommend it to everybody just to try it once. I mean, it's a demo; you're not losing any money. So, no comments, Ironcaster. You're uncommonly quiet. Are there not enough short stack goblins in it for you?
You know me so well.
I do.
But don't worry, we'll mod them in.
We'll mod them in.
Like a much more vicious version of the Kerbal Space Program.
I've never played that, but I've seen it, and everybody really enjoyed it. It looks fun.
I mean, I would probably, if I got on PC, I'd just play it casually like I'm doing on the mobile app right now. But I'm assuming the PC version is going to have a lot more features and other stuff that you could do compared to the mobile version. So.
Well, DM Blackwell, while you're working on security systems, make sure you work on climate control and environmental control for them too, because if the Necroa virus spreads to the inside of your dropship, you're dead. But yeah, definitely. I'll probably talk about it even more after the game releases on the 17th, because I know I'm going to be excitedly playing the hell out of it. Because I know that when I started playing Plague Inc., I pretty much was playing it for a solid 2 days before I finally set it down. In fact, I don't know how much time I actually have in it. Let me see. Plague Inc. involved 80 hours? That's not bad.
Yeah, I think I'm on my fourth or third. Yeah, I think I'm on my fourth settlement right now. Because even after I complete all the rewards, I'll still just unlock everything and try to get everything the highest level I can unlock it to before I move on to start a new settlement.
Yeah, it looks like it's so much fun. I can't wait to see all the scenarios that haven't been released yet.
You've yet to reach my level of 100 plus hours in Powerwash Simulator.
That's true, but there are so many other games out there that are pulling me away from it. Like, for example, Zombie Graveyards Simulator.
Yes, but none of them will let you Powerwash a Dreadnought from 40K.
No, I get to wash tombstones, though, and pick up trash around my cemetery. Or hire dudes to do it, because I'm too busy.
Or more importantly, what about SpongeBob's house?
Yeah, that one does sound kind of fun.
See, it's kind of funny because I listened to some of this stuff about some of these newer games, and I'm honestly reminded of why it is that you look at my computer, which I got a pretty decent gaming rig. Can run just about anything I want to. I can, max out Cyberpunk 2077. Though I play it on my PS4 instead, or but you look at my computer and it's loaded down with things like Master of Orion and Master of Orion 2, and
because those are good games,
Roller Coaster Tycoon and stuff. Because I'm like, it's like, oh, Zombie Graveyard Simulator. I'm like, this is Roller Coaster Tycoon with zombies and tombstones. I'm hiring people to clean my tombstones instead of clean puke up off of the side of the ride. The ride I intentionally made to kill people.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. Most games are derivative of other things.
Oh, without a doubt.
So there's always going to be similarities between all these things. But that doesn't mean they're not good.
No, not at all. It definitely doesn't mean they're not good. There's plenty of new games. I love 2077. There's a lot of people who bitch about Cyberpunk 2077. I love 2077. I think it's a great
I love
game.
it.
And
I
I was talking to my best friend about it, and we were doing one of those back in my day conversations, the kids days, because we're sitting here laughing about it. And I was like, oh my God, I fell through the floor and I got stuck, or what the hell they're bitching about. Like, oh, my game froze up. I'm sitting here and I'm like, these kids just don't know. They don't remember buying like a JLM game or something like that. Like a game that was like the Terminator of the game on Super Nintendo, knowing for sure that the game was painfully glitched, was never ever going to work, and was just awful on every level, and there was no way out of it.
Or how about the really fun Friday the 13th game by LJN?
Oh, yeah.
On Nintendo.
By LJN. All of their catalog.
Well, to put it in context for you guys, the generation now think of the Nintendo GameCube as retro.
Yeah.
I mean, it is technically by societal standards if you were to think about it. But I mean, I remember my cousin used to have one where you had like Star Fox Adventures and that version of Soul Calibur 4 that had Link on it. And then I'm trying to remember all the other games.
Those games are turning 20.
I literally still have my GameCube sitting in my closet, and the only reason I bought it was to play Resident Evil Remake and Resident Evil 0, and that's it.
There were some decent games on the platform that you slept on. Games like Custom Robo, like Tales of Symphonia. These were
but by the time all that stuff came out, I think the PS2 was already out, and I was playing the hell out of that.
Hard to
Don't really remember.
And I'm sitting here I've been thinking about the last couple of days how I would love if they would bring the Shadow the Hedgehog game onto PC, because the whole Shadow with a gun thing that you see in the new Sonic movie came from that video game, with Shadow riding the motorcycle and the trucks and the guns and all that came from that video game. And despite all the crap it got, I absolutely loved it for my favorite Sonic game.
There are a lot of console exclusives that most of us PC Master Race people have been like screaming for them to port over for years. Like, what the hell's that FromSoft game that was such a big thing? Bloodborne. Yeah, we've been wanting Bloodborne over here forever. I was so happy when we got Ghost of Tsushima.
Though, with all that said, the recent news that came out about the brand new ROG Ally with the Xbox interface is a bit of an interesting one from that perspective because we're starting to see Xbox really push the idea of play your games everywhere, and including some reports I was hearing of some people's PC Xbox libraries are starting to get some of the console games included. So we might see some of those OG Xbox and 360 games getting ported forward. So maybe not everything, but there's efforts.
Well, I mean, there's still stuff that I want to play that's on the older systems. Like, I still want to play Fist of the North Star Lost Paradise. And I would like to play Fist of the North Star Ken's Rage 1 and 2 again. So, but, they're console exclusives to PlayStation. And I'm just kind of like, I don't want to buy a PS. They're too expensive, and frankly, they just don't have the software base that I would really enjoy. I mean, spend like $600 for a unit and another $50 for the game or so, and then it's just kind of like, now what? Got a $600
item? What are you talking about?
Plastic. Yeah, you buy them.
I don't understand.
You purchase them with money. We don't, we don't condone piracy here.
I'm sorry, you're speaking Spanish. I don't understand.
It's like, I got jar dirt. I got jar dirt.
Really? No kidding. No, but there's sufficiently, a billion different PC games on Steam that, I could stay busy with that for years to come yet. So, I mean, I still need to finish Ghost of Tsushima. That game is massive, but I'm in no hurry to finish it. So, because I have a feeling Ghost of Tsushima 2, whatever I forgot what the name is, but Ghost of Yotai is gonna suck. So,
I think one thing, and I'm sure this has been spoken about 1,000 times before, 1,000 different ways, but I think one thing where, when it comes to like your older games, that they have I think you have a better chance of a really good game out of your older games than your newer games, because while they are, everything, like you said, everything's derivative. Of course it is. But back in the day, you didn't have like fancy mechanics or crazy graphics or something to fall back on. You were like, how do I make this game engaging enough and entertaining enough and solid enough that people are actually going to keep paying attention to it? They're going to finish it and they're going to enjoy it the whole time. Where I think they hide behind like the one that comes to mind, and I know that this is a game that has a strong following and it is a decent game. Was not my cup of tea, but like the Devil May Cry series.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that the one that had like the bullet time events and whatnot?
That was the Max Payne series, which I played all three and love that video game series still to this day. I even got the movie.
Well, the thing is though, you're kind of missing how the technology has advanced to the point where these companies don't have to put it out all out at the same time, because they can just sell you on the idea and give you the DLC later, or to get the money out, to just go ahead and get something else so they can get the money up front.
Yep.
And that's the fundamental thing that's changed gaming. It's the always online, the fact that internet connections are allowing for say first day one patches. There's no need for these companies to get it right the first time, because they have the ability to undo, change it around and hopefully try and pull a No Man's Sky if worse comes to worse.
Absolutely. And it's also, they don't have to put out you get a bean counter response out of it, where it's like, hey, we can punch this game out for half the production cost because we're only going to put out half of it, and we're only going to finish it if it happens to take off and make money. Otherwise, we can just save that half of the development cost because the game was a flop. Put that money into the next.
Well, that, and thanks to the DLC, all those features that they might have put into the base game, into that initial release, they can drip feed those out as DLC as additional revenue to get the game going and paying for the game.
Well, it's
Yeah, sadly, we're likely never going to see a game quite like or as good as the Time Splitters franchise.
Really?
Oh, dude, Time Splitters was fantastic. Just the amount of content they were able to put on that.
If you say so. It's not one that I really enjoyed or played. So
we need Time Splitters remastered. That's what we need.
One of my favorite games I used to play back on the original Xbox, and this was a very much kind of a niche game, but it got some popularity for a while. I believe it was called Blinks, where you played as a cat and you had to walk around this vacuum, but you could also like control time in certain aspects as well as you were trying to go around and like try to like save the world, basically.
Well, I started this out with After Inc. Revival, right? Talking about zombies and the zombicide virus. Or the necrovirus, right? And then that kind of helps us segue right on into zombicide and what's going on with Asmodee acquiring them from Simon.
I was just about to say, I just heard about that today.
Well, thanks to Ironcaster, I found out about it 5 minutes before the show started. But yeah, apparently Asmodee has acquired the zombicide IP from board game publisher Simon. Cool mini or not. And I am really shocked that Simon gave it up because my thought was Zombicide was their biggest IP, and they had it spread around so much because they had Marvel Zombies Zombicide, they had Deceased Zombicide, they had all kinds of tie-ins with like Supernatural, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Iron Maiden. Yeah, the band.
Sweet.
Yeah, I've got the figures. They're cool.
I saw the
Eddie.
I saw the TMNT one in my store, and I really wanted to see, but couldn't afford it.
They did 2 TMNT ones because they did one for regular Zombicide, and then they did one for Zombicide White Death, which I have. But yeah, I mean, Asmodee, I thought was in charge of Zombicide for the longest time. I thought they actually owned the company, but as it turns out, I think they were like just a distribution company because Asmodee is a big giant games distributor. And I think they're up in the north and, down south, we've got Chessex, which is, the big game distributor for the south. And Silverlock, Zombicide Invaders. They had a Western Zombicide. They have a medieval Zombicide. They've got, regular old Zombicide. They have so many different versions and types of Zombicide. They had, they even had a Army of the Dead version of Zombicide that came out, which kind of flew under the radar.
Yeah, and I shared before. I own the Night of the Living Dead Zombicide edition.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, I've got that one as well. The Night of the Living Dead Zombicide edition. I guess the Army of the Dead one probably flew under everybody's radar because I remember when it was announced and then I never heard a word about it. And then like 5-6 years later, it popped up and I bought a copy and, I guess it's because the movie didn't do that well, but it was what it was. But like I said, I thought that was Simon's biggest IP because they have licenses to stuff like Game of Thrones. They have lots of their own little games that they put out from various groups. I think one of their big ones is Cthulhu Death May Die. I know that I'm getting the Godzilla from that. So it really kind of surprises me that they would give up Zombicide because I think, in my opinion, Zombicide is the one that put them on the map.
They also did the Marvel Zombies as well, I believe. They also did a version of that one as well.
I said that, yeah.
Oh, I didn't hear you say that. My apologies.
Yeah, I've got it. I don't have everything for it because I couldn't afford to kickstart everything, so I don't have the giant Galactus as much as I wanted him.
Oh yeah, I forgot that was like a big thing. The giant zombie Galactus.
Yeah, like now if you want to get it, you have to shell out like $200-$300 up on eBay, and I'm just like, no. They'll reprint it eventually, right? Because they reprinted the giant Cthulhu, except now maybe they won't.
Well, the fundamental issue is just that it's all the printing and the over reliance upon China for making all of the physical models.
Mm-hmm.
And
I mean, when you make miniatures for just about every single board game that you produce, yeah, you're going to have to find a cheap source to do it, and China is their go-to.
Well, that and there's so much other costs I can think of. Like, do they generally do duplicates of any of those models in a set of Zombicide?
No, I mean, what do you mean duplicates?
I mean, when you get a box of Zombicide, are any of the zombie models duplicates? Like, do you get 2, 3, 4 of any one, or are they all unique models?
Oh no, they're all about the same.
I mean, yeah, all the heroes are individualized, and all the special zombies, like the abominations, are all individualized. But the regular zombies, like the walkers and the runners and the fatties, they come in like 2 or 3 variations, and usually they give you like 4 or 5 of them in a box or more.
Okay, I've never played Zombicide, so I actually didn't know.
So it's kind of a yes and no. Or yes, it is a lot of the same, but they have a couple different variations of that one zombie type.
Yeah, and Magnificent Devil may be right. There's likely oversaturation for Zombicide games. They probably aren't selling as many as they used to, because you can get fatigue on that kind of stuff. I mean, they have a Zombicide role-playing game called Zombicide Chronicles, which we've played on this channel. They were going to do a Black Plague version of it called Zombicide Plague Bearer, and they were on the cusp of releasing it last June, and then they decided to pull the plug and retool it. And I hate to sit there and stroke my own ego, but because we live play tested it, and I informed CMON that we were going to do that, I had one of the CMON's representatives talk to me and tell me that we could talk to the inventor of the game and ask them some questions and stuff. Well, that never made it to fruition since they decided to change up the game. But I have a feeling they were watching our playtest and seeing how we were dealing with it and deciding, maybe we want to structure this a little bit differently.
I mean, I saw on Draft RPG there was like a Black Plague book that you can buy, I thought. Unless that's something completely different.
No, Black Plague, those are probably the novels. Because they made Black Plague novels. They really tried to push the Zombicide brand quite a bit. I mean, they had novels, they had limited edition comic books that you had to buy directly from CMON, which also had game material. Those were really cool. It took them forever to make them, though.
But the problem with this here is the fact that Zombicide has 13 box sets.
I mean, there's
and I'm just pulling that off of Grok. But the problem is, it's like, how many ways can you keep slicing that particular apple? It's in addition to the fact that zombies are a trend that sort of comes and goes with pop culture.
True.
Like, zombies don't really seem to be as big right now. Neither do vampires or werewolves or any of the other kind of classic horror monsters. Cyberpunk was arguably that for a minute, but even that's fallen by the wayside.
Yeah,
and
that's
the problem is you have
trends.
These brands. Yeah, exactly. There are these trends that come and go, but in that as well is the much larger picture of board games.
Mm-hmm.
And board games were really big as a trend for a while there as well. But the problem is, I think fundamentally, something that no one's really wanting to talk about is just how bloated this industry has gotten.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if you look at my shelf, it's full of Kickstarter board games that I will probably never get a chance to play or paint. And CMON is directly responsible for a lot of that. I mean, I have quite a few CMON games that are not Zombicide, but I bought them because, one, they were interesting, and I thought I could use the miniatures in my role-playing games, and also had some compatibility with Zombicide, like Massive Darkness and Massive Darkness 2, which kind of pissed me off because, I bought Massive Darkness, full-on Kickstarter, everything, and it had crossover with Zombicide, and then they released Massive Darkness 2, and it's kind of like, okay, all the crap you had in Massive Darkness 1, you can throw it away. All you need is like the miniatures.
Well, there's also another, and a little bit more accounting style business consideration that could happen too. If the company, let's just say the company's in trouble, right? They need to get their hands on some cash. They need to liquidate a few things to make things work. Well, like you said, that thing's, there's a shelf life based on trends and whatnot. So the value of, say, Zombicide is kind of at a peak, so they can get the most for it. It's also the biggest thing with the most products, the most tie-ins. It's the most valuable. And they may be looking at it as, we can sell Zombicide and solve all of our problems and keep everything else, or we can unload 4 or 5 other IPs that we're going to have to sell at, pennies on the dollar just to get them sold quickly. And if we do that, we've lost multiple IPs and not gotten as much money as we would have if we'd have just sold Zombicide.
Except they've done both.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, or they could be in such deep crap. Like that was and I don't know if this is the same company or not that Professor DM was talking about on his channel earlier in a video.
It was.
It is.
Yeah, that company's liquidating everything because they're up shit creek without a paddle.
Yes.
They
are.
Can't even fund their Kickstarters apparently.
Yeah. Now, actually, that's what they said about their Kickstarters. They said they're going to fulfill the Kickstarters that they have that are still open, but they're not going to start any new ones up. And for me, that's a good thing because the last thing I kickstarted from CMON was Cthulhu Death May Die Season 3, which has Godzilla in it. And yeah, if I don't get my Godzilla, I'm going to be hella pissed.
Yeah, which is exactly what they need to do. But that tells me it's like, hey, in order to cover our Kickstarters, we have to we've got to liquidate a bunch of stuff because we don't have the capital to keep our to make our Kickstarters work.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a video a while back that Luke Hart did talking about the economy of Kickstarters, and basically saying that like they're never really Kickstarters are generally not fully funded even when they say they are.
Yeah,
because he had
which makes
the game.
That kind of makes sense with CMON because every time they would run a Kickstarter for a Zombicide product, I noticed that they would always lag a little bit and then at the very end catch up for some reason in order to hit all the stretch goals, which kind of told me it's like, yeah, they were already planning on making these stretch goals anyway. It's just a case of, they give you that false incentive to, book up your order a little bit more to put some more money in their Kickstarter. But I will say this, Cthulhu Death May Die Season 3 did not go to Kickstarter. It went straight to GameFound. And I almost missed out on it. And Massive Darkness 2, the latest edition of Massive Darkness, which I couldn't kickstart because I didn't have the money for it, sadly. But that also went to GameFound instead of Kickstarter. So it's possible that both of those kind of flew under most people's radar.
Well, the fundamental problem is it by and large seems like you're starting to see something very similar to what was going on with the Evergrande development company in China, which is kind of ironic. So that's where a lot of these are also being produced.
Mm-hmm.
Where in that particular case, the company was basically taking down payments on apartments that they had not built yet, to then go and buy and bid on additional plots of land to then be able to go and build the next set of houses where that down payment would then pay to build the previous apartment complexes, and then they can kind of keep this perpetual cycle up, was the idea. But the larger issue, though, is the fact that you've seen more and more attempts to make these games bigger, bolder, more ambitious, which is just bloating production costs to get all these, bells and whistles, which are great. Don't get me wrong. I love these things. But the problem is it's getting more and more reliant upon all this global international trade for cheap labor, cheap production.
Well, I mean, that's the other thing too, is, they're spending money on all these IPs. I mean, they had to go to license Toho to get Godzilla. They had to license through Supernatural to get the guys from Supernatural and Ghostbusters and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and the Thundercats. And yeah, I'm serious. They have a Thundercats. God, who else did? Yeah, they did DC and they did
Usagi
Marvel.
Yojimbo.
Yeah, Usagi Yojimbo was part of the latest White Death. Geez, I mean, Iron Maiden, the band, of course. And then there was Monty Python, which, I mean, when they announced the Monty Python Zombicide, I was just like, no, I draw the line on this.
On second thought, let's not back this. 'Tis a silly game.
Yeah, I mean, the only way I would have bought that is if my friend Ed were still alive, because he probably would have got a laugh out of it. But seriously, it's like Zombicide is kind of like not serious to begin with. They take kind of the whole fighting the zombies thing as a little bit less than the dire, post-apocalyptic thing that it is supposed to be. So for them to go and combine it with an IP like Monty Python, it's just kind of like, you have turned your game into a farce.
I feel like that may have been just because it was probably on the cusp of when they were doing the Monty Python role-playing game was starting to get pushed and created. I feel like it may have been on the cusp of that, but that's why they did that.
Possibly. It was, I believe they did it about like 2 years ago.
Well, I think what probably happened was the Monty Python rights were up, and so a few companies went and bid for them.
Yeah, Savo, I know what you mean. Yeah, it's not going to take a decade to move a Chinese dice miniature factory to Ghana. Yeah, and, not to get super huge geopolitically here, but we also know that China is also got pipelines into Pakistan and also a little bit of India.
It's called the Silk Road Initiative.
Yeah. So I would not be surprised if at some point, they get more factories started in other countries and manage to rebuild all their production. But for now, kind of is what it is. And yeah, I bet the Monty Python license is really cheap. Well, I mean, there's only like, 3 guys left to talk about it, isn't there? Who do they got? Eric Idle is still alive. John Cleese is still alive. Who's the other guys? The other 2 guys? Because Terry Jones is dead and Graham Chapman died a long time ago.
Yup.
Yep. Yeah, Python RPG just delivered a month or so ago. I think people have actually tried to play that.
That to me just sounds like a bad idea.
It does. But then again, I liked the Ghostbusters game when it came out.
Yeah, and Ghostbusters is Ghostbusters is like an action comedy, sci-fi comedy deal, right? There's an element there to it. And I get the initial jumps, like, man, we'll make a Monty Python role-playing game. I mean, hell, that's just Dungeons and Dragons anyway. 90% of the Dungeons and Dragons sessions is people sitting around quoting Monty Python. Rail anyway.
Yeah, but Zombicide?
Once you get past that, though, it's like, and this is for anything, not even just Zombicide here. Monty Python is a comedy troupe. And that means you're going to need to have a comedy game. And you're going to need a very funny comedy game because that's what people are going to expect.
And there is nothing worse than the guy at the table who thinks he's funny but isn't.
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah. And then, like I said, how many of us have a joke character that we love? And we talk about how, man, session after session for a 3-year campaign, Bob's joke character was so awesome. Imagine if your entire game is a joke. That's the kind of thing that gets played once and put back on the shelf and
exactly
comes out every once in a while. But you're not running a serious flying circus campaign.
No. And at the same time, you're probably not going to want to break out the Monty Python Zombicide set either a lot. Because
the one thing I've heard with the Monty Python RPG that I do like the idea of is that the game master is essentially the FCC board, and you're trying not to get canceled.
Mm-hmm.
So that sounds amusing. That sounds amusing for a session, 2 sessions.
Obviously, like Esoteric Order of Nerdity bought the game because she's quoting it. So they do have a point, though. If you try to be funny at a game, it never works. You just kind of have to let the humor go as it is. Such as when we were playing Fabula Ultima and we had to go delving into a Leviathan's butthole to get treasure. That was.
And to think there was not one corn joke made.
How
you made a
critical
corn
role
joke.
of you.
You made a corn joke.
What about a peanut joke?
Nobody made a peanut joke, but we did everything else. Yeah, if you play a silly game with absolute seriousness, you'll never stop laughing. That's probably true.
I'm surprised you didn't use the opportunity to tell incessant gong farmer factoids.
Oh, that would have been out of character. What does Neal know about gong farming? He's a chef. That's like the least. That's as far away from his area of expertise as possible. It's kind of like, look, I make the stuff that you poop out. I don't go and scrape around in the poop.
You make it when it's coming, not when it's going.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes. If I see my food coming out of either end of your body, I'm not interested. I only want it to go in.
Here's the topic that's going to cause this particular podcast episode or stream episode to blow up and just, you're going to have 10 million followers after this once they find out that the viral talking about the chef of poop video came out.
The what?
The what?
This is your moment.
Oh, you really? You think so, huh?
Yep, this is your moment. Own it.
And speaking of chefs, why don't we have a little bit of fun here for a moment and enjoy this wonderful bit of really craftily talented street food. I'm sorry, that just looks like diarrhea waiting to happen.
Yep.
It's like I've worked in too much fast food to be like, no gloves, I'm out.
Oh yeah, well then you might enjoy this one too.
I told him how soggy it is.
Yeah, check this guy. Look at how much oil he's put, and that's like, ew.
I mean, that stuff hadn't been changed since the bicentennial.
Yeah, I was about to say that's like motor oil. There ain't no spices. That's just oil.
Just throw some Valvoline in there.
Oh yeah, but he's not done yet. Wait till you see what else he does with it. Yeah, see now he's mixing it with his hamburger meat. Barehanded.
Imagine the calluses that dude has. He just pulled that out of like hot oil, and it's just balling it up with his hand.
And then it's just gonna go and fry it again.
How have these people not gone extinct from food poisoning or dysentery at this point?
I guess if you grow up eating it, it won't kill you.
I guess the tapeworms inside them just help them live longer.
I mean, my bowels are rumbling just looking at it.
Just remember what George Carlin said.
What's that?
I mean, your immune system, it's a muscle and you got to exercise it, And why, how does he survive? How does he not get sick? Because when he drops food on the ground, he picks it up and eat it. Even if he's at at a sidewalk cafe in Calcutta on New Year's morning during a soccer riot.
Yikes. I was just thinking, the hardest I push my digestive system is, getting an Allsups burrito. Which, they taste really good though. But here we go. Here's something a little bit more wholesome.
Favorite snack of the moment. They're called Takis or Takis. And they're a little spicy.
Oh God, it's a white woman.
Actually,
we know it's gonna be bad already.
Yep. And get the spice out, and it's kind of shaped like a straw, so it's pretty easy to get all the spice out. It should look like that.
No,
and then sometimes I eat it with like mayonnaise or ranch dressing, but I don't have that.
Oh God.
But
okay,
the taste test is really good.
You cannot be that white.
It's
look. I'm gonna defend the white race here real quick. I get sick of this nonsense. All right, well, people don't spice their food. Hey, excuse me. French cuisine is the greatest cuisine on the planet, on which all other cuisines that are worth eating are based. All right, let's go down to. Let me go find an old guy you can barely understand who half speaks French in Southern Louisiana. You ain't gonna find a Michelin star chef of any color that cooks as good as he does, and he does it with a possum he scraped up out of the ditch.
What?
Go find me the pit masters who ain't all white boys.
I see your food videos, and I one up you.
Say what?
You sure?
Oh, have you got something? Oh,
yeah.
This is AI, dude.
What's up, guys? It's Yaw Bear. I'm here with Bigfoot Vlogs, and today we're gonna fuck up some trout. This rod's held together with rage and regret. Let's go!
Okay, cool, fucking cool. Fish just stole my goddamn rod like it's payback for seafood. That trout has a weapon now, Bigfoot Vlogs. It's A-armed. Go get it.
All right, campers, today we're...
Bro, could you pick something with more offensive language? I'm just curious.
I can.
I know you could, but I'd like to keep
You said you ran the FU insurance.
I
Apparently
did.
I decided to put that to the challenge.
I did, but you don't want to like throw down like 15 F-bombs and S-bombs in a row, dude. I'd like to be able to get some ad revenue off of this video.
You ain't getting shit.
I ain't getting shit off this thing, but
hey, I covered myself.
You did. I didn't. But anyway, yeah. So that Seabon story actually kind of took a little bit longer than I thought. But I mean, it is news, and it's important news, and you needed to see this today.
I mean, it's never going to get old. It just never will.
No, it won't. I can't wait.
Her forehead gets a little bit bigger.
I mean, I don't know what they're going to put her in next, but I don't want to watch it.
No, so you remember the meme I sent you of like a few days back, T-shirt, where it was about they're making a movie about Sam Bankman-Fried, and they casted someone really hot as his girlfriend, despite that the IRL version of the girlfriend is not that attractive. And immediately someone commented with the actress from that Last of Us actress, whatever her name is, just saying she had the perfect role, and they didn't cast her for it.
Well, I mean,
she has a roles at drive-in movie theater to projector.
My only wish is that they would start giving Sydney Sweeney some more projects.
I mean, you can't really complain too much about them making a girl hotter than she's supposed to be in some kind of documentary style or based on a true story. I mean, you watch The Wolf of Wall Street, and they had Margot Robbie play Jordan Belfort's wife, and just like 90% of everything else in Jordan Belfort's life, his wife was a bit exaggerated in his book.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for instance, he constantly referred to her as a Miller Lite girl. And it's like she was not a Miller Lite girl. She was an extra in a Miller Lite commercial one time in 1983.
Well, that's the magic of movies, It just doesn't necessarily have to be all factual because, license can be taken.
It sounds
to a
about the
degree.
same as when everyone freaked out over the Folgers coffee commercial, where it's the military brother returning home and the sister's already awake, waiting for him with a fresh pot of coffee.
Mm-hmm. Let's just stop and admire this meme for a moment.
I was just thinking that. I just read that in his voice.
Raw. I'm sorry, but you know, life is depressing enough. I mean, meme culture is pretty much all I have left. I mean, Darkest Dungeon quotes on booty shorts. In time, you will know the tragic extent of my failings. The task ahead is terrible, and weakness cannot be tolerated.
I like that one.
Patient, it will wait.
Not if it's diarrhea.
Let me share with you the terrible wonders I have come to know.
And we have come full.
I mean,
circle to
Darkest
poop.
Dungeon is just another nickname for a woman down there.
No, it's not.
I don't know what kind of women you've been dogging to.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Hunter, but I mean, if it's like a hot dog being thrown down the hallway, you know, just saying there, buddy.
I mean, unless it's some kind of like ebony dominatrix site, Darkest Dungeon sounds kind of bad to me.
It kind of does, yeah. Let's not even go there. Jesus Christ, I'm not going to be able to monetize this show. I'm so fucked. Okay. So anyway, moving right along. I did finally send the Shin character video commentary stuff over to Animane this morning, so hopefully they will, you know, my Fist of the North Star character examination videos will start coming out with Shin being the first one. And in case anybody was wondering why I picked Shin first and didn't go like Kenshiro, it's quite simply, it's because if I started off with Kenshiro, I pretty much end up telling you the entire story of Fist of the North Star right from the very beginning. And if you haven't ever read it or seen it, that's kind of a cheat. And I don't want to do that to you. So I started off with Ken's first major bad guy. And I don't want to do all the little side characters. I really don't want to do Jackal. I didn't really touch briefly on the four lieutenants. I don't want to do Fox. I really don't want to do Amoeba, but I guess I might have to at some point. But I don't know. I mean, because Fist of the North Star has so many minor villains that are powerful to like regular people, but to like Kenshiro, they're just like, you know, he just kind of walks through them like they're just a minor inconvenience.
Dude,
But anyway,
the blue whale or the blue whale heavy cavalry.
Yeah, basically, it's like, yeah, that guy was like a nothing burger to Guts, but yeah, to Casca, you know, he was a real threat.
Yeah, he was funny.
Yeah, he was funny, but I mean, that was the level of difference in their skills.
Oh yeah.
But and by the way, if you missed our Dungeons and Discussions this morning, you owe it to yourself to go back and watch it, because we had the GOAT on with us again today, and we had some really good game observation type stuff.
Yeah, I caught like 5 minutes of it, and I started actually typing a comment because I was actually really interested in that discussion. And was just going to leave a piece on it. I got to go back and even pick up what it was, because of course I had a business client show up in the office as I was typing the comment, and I was like, well, time to turn this off and, you know, talk to
the work. Yeah. Well, don't be afraid to leave comments. I mean, you know, comments are how the videos get seen.
They are.
You know,
I just didn't have time to finish it because I had a $5 million commercial project I needed to work on.
Mm-hmm. And of course, Castor was doing that work thing. Got to make that money.
So was I, but I did listen. I did listen to it on the way home from work, though. Afterwards,
that's cool.
Look, I've almost got all the grease and dirt and grime from work scrubbed off my hands.
Yeah, you poor guy, man. I know what you do for a living, and that's not easy.
No, but it certainly paid for a crap ton of Warhammer audiobooks. Thanks, Audible. Yeah, so last week Audible had this like 85% off site-wide sale. So I was buying Warhammer 40K audiobooks for like $4.25 each.
Yeah, but when are you gonna have time to listen to them? Because they're really huge, aren't they?
Yeah, I listen to them at work.
And don't most of them consist of the same guy writing all the Ultramarine stuff? And the Ultramarines are like so awesome and beloved, and they ended up kind of owning the game.
Kinda, but
yeah.
But then, like, I get to listen to a book about the Emperor's Children Primarch, and he's barely in his own book.
Yeah, see, I hate stuff like that.
Though, actually, the one for the Dark Angels Primarch was a really solid book.
Was it what, Lionel Johnson?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
The Lion of the Forest.
The Dark Angels was actually the very first chapter I ever started painting and working on because I thought they were the coolest.
Oh, Savo. So I would say actually the one I was just mentioning would probably be a good one to look at. Though if you really want to look at some of the specific factions, there's kind of a number of them you can go to. That said, I'm still pretty new to it myself, so if you allow me, I will actually pull up the exact name for you because I think it is actually a superb novel. Also, there's a book about the Necrons called The Infinite and the Divine, which is like about two immoral Egyptian skeleton dudes who are just like sniping back and forth at each other like the two old guys in the Muppets.
Statler and Waldorf.
Yes.
Fulgrim had the worst fall to chaos, especially for Slanesh. His fall was picked up an evil sword. Yeah, no kidding. I personally would love to read more about the orcs, just because, if you read an orc book, it would be written in crayon. And
there are a couple.
Are there?
Yes.
Because there's nothing I like reading orc speech. It's so much fun, because you can sit there and you can imagine the accent as they're going.
If it's drawn in red crown, does that mean you can read it faster?
Yeah, because red ones go faster.
Yes, there is an orc book called Brutal Cunning.
Okay, I may actually have to read that one.
And it is, from what I understand, it is entirely just like orcs. So you get to listen to read or listen to orcs for the entirety of it, and it was written by Mike Brooks.
Okay, yeah, I'll have to get that one. And by the way,
jeez,
what?
Oi, bruv, hiss in it. It's Tuesday, mate. Smashing day for a point.
Smashing.
Smashing.
God, loved the wild thornberries when I was a kid.
So Savo, I dropped the name of the book into the description there for you. The Lion, Son of the Forest. And this is the story of the Primarch Lionel Johnson coming back and reconnecting with his estranged, sons of his chapter. It would be a good place to go to for wanting to get behind a great character, especially, by the way, if you like your Arthurian mythology, because it is Arthurian all up and down to the point where
it's more me and Grimm though.
To the point where he's literally pulling a magic sword out to save his life at one point.
Well, I do have one other thing here for tonight. You go ahead and finish though.
Oh, well, actually, I did have one minor little thing to touch on, but no, please go ahead here.
Okay. We can put it up after this, but yeah, Cyberpunk is not done yet. By the way, since we talked about it earlier, Artel Sorian has said that there is Cyberpunk Legends, an RPG light card game set in Night City. Now, I don't know if it's going to be one of those. I don't think it's a collectible card game. So hopefully you won't have to buy tons and tons and tons of little, packs to try to get the rares and all the stuff that you want. But here's kind of what it looks like. And it's like, yeah, according to the official page, Cyberpunk Legends is an RPG light, narrative-focused co-op card game. So that makes it kind of nice to begin with. Set in the world of the Cyberpunk TTRPG, specifically in the 2020s, the time when Night City legends like Johnny Silverhand and Alt Cunningham walked the streets. Everybody always knows those two. Nobody remembers Morgan Blackhand.
And yeah.
Or
Silver Shark.
Yeah, or Boa Boa. Each game starts with the players choosing one of 4 roles: Netrunner, Solo, Nomad, or Rocker. Why are they calling it rock? See, they're calling it Rocker now. Dude, it's Rocker Boy.
Well, T-shirt, you know why they're not doing it.
Too, because it doesn't even fit their own damn lore. It's called Rocker Boy. It's not called Rocker Boy because it's a boy. It's called Rocker Boy because it references back to a specific person.
And yes, I know why they're doing it, and I still think it's a little bit chicken shit. But
it is chicken shit, but as retarded as what it is.
Yeah, well, don't say too many bad things. I mean, we want to get Mike Pondsmith on here someday, and we don't want to tell him, you know what, you're real chicken shit for saying that.
I don't even know what we're talking about now.
Each of these classes comes with their own deck alongside a character avatar card, health, damage, and leader tokens. From here, your group undertakes different missions in the campaign drawn from one of 3 different scenario decks. These missions involve unraveling complex mysteries, coordinating strategic combat against daunting foes, and making narrative choices with consequences. And each class will have its moment to shine between talking, hacking, puzzling, and fighting.
We promise.
Okay, but here's the thing. Now I see a reason why I want it. Because the mission decks can be used, I imagine, with a little bit of work, could be used very, very easily to make a quickie adventure for your game, for your Cyberpunk game, or for your, in my case, Cities Without Number game.
And that's true. I mean, one of the cool things about Red or even 2020 is that you don't really need a lot to get a Cyberpunk adventure started. I mean, for Christ's sake, we started a lot of them off of Scream sheets.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, or even it's just like, you're walking down the street and you see a car accident.
I always wondered why the bros don't play more Cyberpunk. Like the bros, like especially 2020, which is beautifully crunchy. But it's like, is this not exactly what you guys really want? Everything is hyper episodic. It plays brilliantly into 1-1 time. You get to spend all that downtime healing because there's no such thing as a healing spell. It's like, this sounds like it's perfectly up your alley.
And not to mention, it's a living city that you're part of, and stuff is happening whether you're in it or not.
Exactly.
But hey, there's a chance they'll come around. I mean, they branched out to play Traveler, so.
True. I actually offered to run a 1-to-1 Cyberpunk game for a couple of them that are friends of mine, and that didn't really take off because it wasn't AD&D, and because they're too busy playing, trying to get into Bronsteins and whatnot.
Yeah. Well, it says the biggest draw is that it offers a TTRPG experience with little prep, rules, or DM. The rules are simple, requiring just 5 minutes to learn. In addition, all your actions are resolved with cards, no dice. So it's like, if you reserve your copy on the website, you will receive an early adoption reward, an exclusive Johnny Silverhand card at no additional cost, which, of course, that makes me want to do that. But I have to have a little bit of money first.
No prep? Thank you, Jeffro. There, now your comment section won't get bombed.
Just to be clear, I don't have a problem with the Bro SR, okay? I like Jeffro. This is the
if
game
only some of them would learn how to behave more appropriately when interacting on social media.
I'm pretty sure I just said I have several of them that are friends, but
yeah.
Yeah.
The game will be available via a Kickstarter campaign and will be sold at an MSRP of $50, which, okay, I mean, it's a card game for $50, but obviously it's, I mean, let's call it what it is. It's a board game, pretty much. It is unclear if crowdfunding will include additional expansions or stretch goals. Oh, it's you know it will if it's on Kickstarter.
It's unclear if the Kickstarter will include additional ways to make money.
Yeah, I mean, come on now.
I mean,
I guess I'm going to have to look for it. Actually, one of our other panelists, Dawes Wolfen, I think he said he's already got it on his list of things, and this was published June 6th, so that was 4 days ago. So you still have a chance.
I mean, I'm in the Cyberpunk Discord server. Maybe I could dig around in there and see if there's anything fun that they've said about it.
Mm-hmm. But Hunter, it's your moment.
For
Hunter ruins everything.
I was wondering when this was going to happen.
Fucking Z. He's crude, he's rude, and cannot grasp behaving in society. He is the faux pas king. Oh yeah, watch out, 'cause here it comes. Hunter ruins everything. Oh yeah, Hunter ruins everything.
I love you, man, but I had to.
I love you guys too. I expected you to play that earlier when I made the joke with the Darkest Dungeon thing.
I was, but I decided to save it for close to the end. So. Caster, what do you got?
So I'm going to steal the screen again for a moment, but one little piece of news I just came across,
yes.
My desk as we were talking about GOG earlier. I decided to fire it up and see what's going on, and lo and behold, we got a little bit of news out of them.
Oh, they have mods. Wait, they got mods for Bloodlines? Oh, the unofficial patch. Okay,
yes.
we already knew about that.
But this is something new that GOG is doing that I didn't know about until now. But yes, in fact,
Skyblivion,
the Masquerade unofficial patches.
Yeah, you need that to run it. And Fallout London, I remember that was a GOG exclusive.
But with that said, this is still a good step in getting a lot more mods out there, especially considering that Nexus has basically become the one-stop shop that has been really holding a lot of sway over mods. This is something that I think deserves to be kind of held up more and celebrated a bit.
Well,
That said, though,
I just keep hoping Bethesda will smarten up and decide to remaster Fallout 3.
That would be great. I would rather, and though granted, I would rather Obsidian have something to say about it. I still want New Vegas too.
Everybody wants New Vegas to be remastered. I think that
sequeled.
Well, a sequel would be even better, but after we'll have to see what the TV show gives us.
Well, yeah, there's a good little question for all the folks out there. It's like, what faction should be the canon winner of New Vegas? Like, if you're going to do New Vegas 2,
we're going to find out. We're going to find out because Fallout Season 2 is going to do that, and they've already said the Fallout show that's on Amazon is canonical.
It is, but is it set after New Vegas?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't realize it was set after New Vegas. For some reason, I was thinking it was set before.
Mm-mm. I don't have the timelines. I'm sure Caster could probably whip them up really fast, but actually, go ahead. Do your thing while I do it.
I wanted to point out that currently free to purchase on GOG as well is Warhammer Gladius, which, for anyone who's unaware, this is essentially Civilization, but with a Warhammer twist.
Oh, okay. So the Fallout TV show takes place in 2296, which is 15 years after the events of Fallout New Vegas, which are set in 2281. And like I said, the show is canon, meaning the events in it are considered part of the official Fallout lore.
And I don't know how the showrunners will play that. I honestly don't, because from the looks of it, it kind of looks like maybe Yes Man like if we're being realistic and we're using our actual brains here and not our pandering brains, it would look like it's either a yes man or a Caesar's Legion victory because the place is trashed and everything. That's definitely not a Robert House victory, and probably isn't a New California Republic either. But I could see them saying, "Oh, it's actually the Robert House ending because evil capitalist."
Well, that and apparently Fallout 4 is set in 2287, so there's a 9 to 10 year gap between Fallout 4 and the show. But I'm honestly betting that it was a Robert House win, but something has happened within that 15 years to cause New Vegas to fall into disrepair. Still, though, as much as I love the show, I hate the way that they represent the Brotherhood of Steel.
Yeah, I don't like the way they represent the Brotherhood of Steel, which you can almost hand wave that away in a sense, because let's face it, the Brotherhood of Steel is not one faction in Fallout. There's at least 3 major chapters that have been represented in the video games, and each one of them is somewhat different. Like the Capital Wasteland group is nowhere near as fanatical as the New Vegas group was,
or the group in Fallout 4.
Yeah, well, the group in Fallout 4 is the Capital Wasteland group after leadership change.
Yeah, but they really seem to have turned fanatical.
Yeah, because it's almost like the traditionalist wing got back in control.
Mm-hmm.
Because you remember you had the Brotherhood Exiles in Fallout 3 as well, which was essentially, hey, we don't like the new leadership.
Right.
It's it doesn't bother me so much because you could say, well, this Brotherhood steals a bunch of jock prick assholes because it just happens to be that since it was all the military, this apparently this arm of the Brotherhood of Steel was just either Marines or Army Rangers.
I guess. I don't know. It's like the thing about the show is, they start the Brotherhood off with the guy being the squire to the knight, and the knight is just an unrepentant asshole. And I mean, I'm just kind of like, why are you being so antagonistic towards this kid who kind of is holding your life in his hands?
No, well, his name,
I mean,
he just totally. Yeah, I don't like it at all the way they do the Brotherhood. And to be honest, I can't even remember his name. That's how little I care about him. I don't like the Brotherhood kid anyway. Kind of a crap character. He's kind of he doesn't. It's like they tried to make him more sympathetic because of the clearly. Actually a overly toxic environment that they have there.
Yeah.
I cannot imagine being a military organization in the wasteland with limited resources and every person counts, every body, every soldier is extraordinarily valuable to the cause. I just can't imagine them tolerating the crap that goes on in, like with the whole slashing up the guy's, the one chick's leg and whatnot, so she can't be promoted, and the various hazing and other crap that goes on. I just can't see them really tolerating that because it's antithetical to having a functioning military unit, in a normal situation, let alone in a limited resources and apocalyptic world and small numbers, and we don't let outsiders in, we don't recruit. It's antithetical to that. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, and I mean, it's like even in Fallout 4, Paladin Dance doesn't trust you explicitly when you say that you'll help him out.
He sure as hell didn't trust me whenever I turned his ass over to the Institute. Or when
Well, I
I
mean-
turned him over to Max, it got him killed for being a traitor or being a
Yeah.
traitor.
Well, I mean, but that's the thing, though. Is like even dance still follows a chain of command and everything, and
Oh,
it's you know. So
It's
I
like-
just yeah.
I mean, if you want to make them to spin it to a TTR or to a TTRPG sense, if you want them to be lawful evil, let them be lawful evil, but they need to be lawful.
I don't know. It's just kind of like a case of in the. It's like I think I was saying this to Grim or to Goat earlier this morning that all of the factions in the Fallout TV show seem to be assholes to one degree or another. I mean, it's like they make the overseer out to be the bad guy, but it's kind of like, well, but then in comparison to the people he's struggling against, they're not good either. And then the Brotherhood isn't real good either. And I don't know. There's so much ambiguity in this TV show. I'm curious to see where it's going to go for second season. I hope it's better written than the first one. Even though I enjoyed the first one, but they really got to nail it because I think they've seen the Fallout fans are kind of a lot more hardcore than even the Wheel of Time fans.
Yeah, which Wheel of Time is its own interesting little story when it comes to Wheel of Time fans because I've never seen a fan base that had that much joy at the progenitor of said fan base passing away, because it was almost like there was a celebration of he can't write any more books. But just because, I mean, it's Wheel of Time and it never ends. But with that, I think you're right in when you talk about the factions and everything, and it gets dangerously close to what I'm going to go ahead and call Shameless syndrome. I know that there was a lot of people who thought that was a great show and loved it and everything. I never could get into the show Shameless at all because there's every single person is an irredeemable bastard that I can't. There's nobody here I can relate to or feel sympathy for or want to see succeed. And all I do is end up getting pissed off every single episode because, they somehow managed to survive to the next episode.
Yeah, I remember I watched that entire series and including the UK version. And yeah, they're somewhat sympathetic characters because they're human beings and you can understand their situation, but at the same time, they're also kind of unrepentant bastards to the last person. So,
yeah, I mean, I get through an episode and I look at it and I'm like, I don't feel bad for them at all, even as human beings, because all I see is them getting what they deserve half the time. And anytime something good happens to them, I'm like, they don't deserve to have that. They deserve to have that blow up in their face. So
maybe that's the moral message behind all the TV programming out there. I mean, after all, Breaking Bad ended badly for Walt White, and so did Better Call Saul ended badly for Saul.
Yeah.
Although I keep hearing that they're going to do another Breaking Bad series. They're going to somehow bring Walter White back, and I'm just kind of like,
they had that movie with the Jesse Pinkman character, didn't they? That was kind of like a weird spin-off or something.
It wasn't a weird spin-off. It was kind of like the follow-up to what happens to Jesse after he got free from the supremacists.
The supremacists.
Yeah, the supremacist group.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't want to call them anything else. But yeah, it tells you kind of what happened to him after he got free of them, and how he kind of basically runs off and lives life happily ever after, and succeeds in doing whatever he's going to do, or he's going to be okay, is what it lets you know. But yeah, they're talking about making a Breaking Bad 2, and I have mixed feelings about it. On the one hand, I'm super duper absolutely 100% gafuncto punk about wanting to see it, but there's like a gut feeling, like it's kind of like, how are they going to pull this off? How well is it going to be written? How infected with modern sensibilities will it be? I mean, because Breaking Bad is old. and it's kind of a product of its times, if you think about it.
Yeah.
And if they were trying to do that show now in 2025, could they?
I think they probably could with Breaking Bad, because I can't really think of anything hyper objectionable in Breaking Bad that is presented in a way that they would not, that somebody would just raise hell about.
Oh, maybe, but I mean, look at how old Breaking Bad is. It came out in 2008.
I mean,
and people still
you got a
talk about it to this
professional
day.
outrage class that will find something to be pissed about.
This is also true.
How much legs it'll have.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, it concluded in 2013, so it's had 12 years to sit quietly. People still love Better Call Saul. I don't know. I hope it'll be good. I hope Vince Gilligan, I think his name is Vince Gilligan, has some more good ideas and can actually write up another chapter to it and do a good job. Because if they make it, I'm certain it'll get a second season, just because everybody who is a Breaking Bad fan like me will want to watch it just to see how good it is, that first season.
Yeah. Hopefully he doesn't end up like Kurt Sutter.
Yeah.
Because, Kurt Sutter, he struck a gold mine, and then he is kind of like nothing he does. Even if he does something that's moderately decent, it ain't Sons of Anarchy, so it just gets thrown into the, well, I guess it was okay, but it's not Sons of Anarchy box.
No, well, he also did get kind of thrown off of his own production.
True.
So anyway, because it wasn't him writing those last 3 or 4 seasons of
SOA.
Yeah, no, it wasn't SOA. It was the follow up, the Mayans.
Oh, Mayans, yeah.
Oh, yeah,
that's right.
He started the first
with SOA.
Yeah, Mayans. He started the first season, and then I think they removed him. Because I mean, you could tell there was a radical shift in the way that the show ran after second season for sure.
Oh, with the illegal immigrant Disney princess
and all the other stuff that was just basically like it's all racism. But,
yes.
But anyway, let's go ahead and call it a night, my guys.
Yeah, I've been the only reason I've been quiet is because I've been pondering a Magnificent Devil when he come in Cyberstein, and I was just talking to Harmony the other day, saying how I was looking forward to her new Godspeed campaign she's talking about, and now I'm just sitting here pondering. I want to do that with Cities Without Number now, run a Cyberstein kind of deal.
Why not?
Figure out how I could do that. Yeah, I'll have to reach out to Harmony and ask her for some deets.
I'd like to get Harmony back on the show again.
I actually offered to run one at one point in time. Well, no, it wasn't. Mine was just using 1-to-1 time. It wasn't. I didn't offer one that was a bronze stain. And I have no interest in offering one that's a bronze stain. I have. You want to talk about a play style that I have less than zero interest in?
Right. Well, anyway, thanks everybody out there in YouTube land and in X land for tuning into us, and we hope you enjoyed the show. And we will see you on Saturday for the Week in Geek.
Good night, everybody.
Take care.